Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start chopper. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Man, does it feel good to be back. It is, of course, Triple Bypass Sunday night. It's the Juice Box 115 from Charlotte Motor Speedway, sponsored by the Matt Harmon. We'll explain why it's called the Juice Box here in a little bit, but let's go ahead and let's savor the fact that Triple Bypass is back. We haven't done a Triple Bypass race since June 20th here on the JP Broadcasting Network, and man, feels good to be back home. It's myself, Bradley Dalton. I'm going to be joined by a MX500 winner, Mr. James Parfit himself. We'll bring him in just a moment, but for now, let's talk about the scores on the doors. Let's talk about the Gen4 Season 5 after 12 rounds. Where the scores sit right now, it's Brad Kress in the lead at 416 points with Cameron Kane 18 points behind. Can he close the gap going into the end of the season here? Only one way to find out. Mr. Jason Benson in third, Mr. John Campbell in fourth place. The Naj Crutchley in P5 tied with Mr. JC John Campbell. From there, Al Corey, Ben Harcum, Ward Fisher, Chad Bear, and Sid Kasheshian rounds out our top 10 there. Let's talk about, of course, the fun 5 nights of racing that always go on at Triple Bypass. And be sure to check out triplebypass.com to join in. And we're going to bring you a lot of the action here on the JP Broadcasting Network because we absolutely love them. And it's one of my personal favorite leagues that we cover, although I like every league we cover, so I can't say a lot. Big shout out to tonight's race sponsor, Mr. Matt Harmon himself, sponsoring here the Juice Box 115, and he is an admin for the Tuesday Night SRX League, and of course his son runs a Juice Box class go-kart, so that is why we have that going. And so I'm excited to see if the guys can handle these Gen 4s around Charlotte as if they're running in the Juice Box series. But that's enough of me talking here. Let's bring in Mr. MX500 himself, Mr. James Parfit. James, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I'm all right, mate. I didn't actually think you were going to do that. I thought after we said about it, I thought you might have just actually probably forgotten on there as well. But listen, my accomplishments are nothing compared to the fact of Tyler Ruelis and Ben Harcum, who both had birthdays yesterday. So, you know, although I did win the MX500 after 4.5 hours, after 205 caution laps and 41 cautions, so I don't know what's more of an achievement, their birthday or my winning the MX500.
I'm not gonna place that. They're both very heavy achievements in their own ways, but I will say that 41 cautions.
Yeah, 41 cautions.
Hey, play the politically correct approach, okay?
Yeah.
It's the best way to do it. But 41 cautions. I don't think we get 41 cautions tonight, but I cannot imagine driving through 41 cautions myself. But I will say I've raced Charlotte, and if Al Corey's indication here is anything to go off of, and that wall on the outside of that oval is a very, very dangerous situation. Ask me how I know. It's because I've done it myself in racing with these guys. I raced earlier in the year, Charlotte Gen 4. It wasn't broadcast, and I only made it about 20 laps in before I binned the car. So hopefully nobody repeats what I do, but we've got plenty of drivers that are more skilled than me as we go through here. And we're getting qualifying laps in. Everybody's flying through, and turn 4, it's going to be dangerous, James. It's going to be real dangerous today.
Oh, dude, absolutely. They got 24 degrees banking in the turns, 5 degrees on the straights. That literally means they're going to have a drop of 19 degrees before they come from the corners down onto that back straightaway. Now, you can see here as they're coming on, it goes very flat. They've got to be careful not to get the bump that's going to bounce them round the corner. Nodge here is going to be going into turn 3, but watch as he comes out of 4. It's very, very tricky. Oh, but I kept going just for a little bit. Here we go. Let's see if Al Corey does it. He's going into 3 here currently. You can see how steep the banking actually is. And then they're dropping down off this thing. They've got to be careful just there of a bump. And then it squeezes up here. You know, the inside lane want to drift up to 3 lanes wide. They want that space. And if they're going too wide, they could be in trouble. So it's going to be very, very tough here. Turning 30, Turning 30 was a big thing for me. Yes, Tyler, you wait till I'm turning 46 in about 19 days' time. So, you know, be aware. It's, yeah, don't get any easier the more you get older, mate. You wake up with a new pain every single day after you get to 40 and above. But I think these guys, they've got to be careful coming off that D. They've got to be careful making sure that they aren't trying to run too wide, because that D section, that section across the line tightens up because that inside lane want to come up into lane 2. They want to get it up there. They don't want to be running, you know, very, very tight together, because they need to. As they come off this side here, it's very rare that they'll stick on the inside lane. You can see even with Ward Fisher, come up straight up into lane 2, and they've got to be careful of that, because otherwise, if they're not careful of that, well, the words over here are, it's all gone Pete Tong.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting to see how they handle that front quad oval section as they come around. That's really, if we see incidents, it's going to be off the exit of 4, somebody losing the rear end like we've already seen, or it's going to be going out of that second hook here into 1, and that's really where things get interesting. But these guys are all professionals. They do a lot better than me, and so I think we'll be fine tonight, and we'll see how things go. I am counting 25 cars in competition today, and we'll look at all 25 of them in a second. This is going to be John Creedler, who is trying to put down a final lap here. He's currently rolling P11. We'll see how he does as he gets his final run around. 30 seconds left to go to get your laps in, and if you haven't already ran your 2 laps, well, you are going to be pushing on time here, because it is about a 31-second lap as we go around here, and Creedler up into P3 accordingly. The South Carolina native gets it around, looks fairly good through, and we do have a poll in the YouTube chat, as is tradition with Triple Bypass. How many cautions are you expecting tonight? I've said the number I'm thinking in chat. Your options are 1 to 4, 5 to 10, or over 10. And I'm really, really hoping that we don't go over that 10 mark tonight. So we'll see. We'll see how things go as qualifying has concluded here, James.
Yeah, I'm hoping we don't either, to be honest with you. But let's bring you up the grid there, Brad. And they're all sitting there waiting for you.
Yeah, and it's going to be Chad Bear and Al Corey, P1 and P2 respectively there. So that'll be your front row. Going in the second row is John Creedler and Brad Kress, Kyle Gresh and Mr. Jason Benson, P5 and P6, Mark Herzog and Sid Kasheshi in P7, P8, Ben Harcum in 9th, Cameron Kane in P10, Mr. JC John Campbell, the Australia native, in P11, and Mr. Matt Parasini. Will he do any pirouettes today? We'll find out. He starts from P12, Casey Ellis P13, Ward Fisher in 14th, John Lawrence in P15, Tex Nichols in P16, Matt Harmon and Derek Forrest P17, 18 respectively, Naj Crutchley P19, and Patrick Swisshelm in P20. Tyler Royales, happy birthday Tyler, in 21, and Greg Pillar in 22nd, Michael Seymour and Angel Resendez in 23rd and 24th respectively. And I can't forget John Barton, who is going to be running out P25 there in place. So we'll see how these guys go through. And as they get gridded up here on the front stretch, it'll be a pace lap and then a go.
Yeah, it will be. We'll lead the poll up until the race starts, and then we'll see what is going to come out on top. I reckon there's only going to be a 2. Now, I was also doing some maths, which, you know, is a big thing, right, for a commentator. Brad Kress is in 4th at the moment. Now, that will get Brad 40 points, okay? Cameron Kane, who's sitting in 2nd in the standings, but I can't actually see him. Oh, yes, I can. He's in 10th. So, basically, there's 18 points. So, Kane has to take the full 46, and Brad has to be about 17, no he doesn't, he has to be 14 places below that to basically give Cameron Kane the title.
We'll keep tabs on that, James. I'm going to trust you to do the math on that, because I will forget by the end of the night. So I'm going to trust you to keep your eyes on that and do the math on that.
Well, then they've got, no, hold on. Yeah, because they've got one more round after this, I believe, on August 12th to finish off. So it's this one and one more. So for Kane to get close, he's got to beat Brad Kress today.
And as it sits, Cameron Kane is back in 10th place, and Brad Kress is starting P4, as you said. So we'll see how that goes. But 115 laps, anything can happen as we go here. And, you know, it's possible. We've seen last to first happen here, but who knows? We'll keep our eyes on it. But 115 laps of action at 30 seconds a lap, things are going to move fairly quick. So if you need a popcorn or a drink, you're going to have to wait a little bit. And because now is not the time, because we're getting ready to go green flag racing here. Barney has the flag. He's going to wave it, and we are going to be underway here for the Juice Box 1. All these cars go flying by, but up front, Chad Bear is going to just say, see you later, and get away very quickly. Big incident early on in turn 1, and that is the 19 I see going around.
Gotta be.
And caution comes out before I can finish my sentence. John Creedler, John Campbell, Sid Kasheshian, Jason Benson, Ward Fisher, Nodge Crutchley, Michael Seymour, Tyler Ruelas. Looks like a lot of drivers involved in that one early on.
Yeah, I'm going to try and go back here. It kicked off.
Right there in the hook.
Yeah, there's basically a car further up. I think it's at 99 of John Creedler. And then this is where we said, and this is where I said the cars on the inside are going to want that higher lane. He gets on the grass. He's loose already. He gets tapped from Gretsch, who sends him straight up into that outer line. Boom. Benson's got nowhere to go. Literally not a hope in trying to survive any of that. And then he comes down, and of course, as he's coming down, everybody on the inside is then stuck. JC just, no, he doesn't make it through. He ends up on the grass. Ward Fisher's in there, and he just goes and torpedoes someone. So lap 1.
Well,
Creedler started it off, but I think everybody else is stuck within it as well.
I can count about 10 cars that are already using their fast repair in lap 1.
Yeah,
that's all that's happened.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars in the pits. Cameron Kane, JC, Perezzini, Tex Nichols, Patrick Swissome, Ward Fisher, Jason Benson, John Creedler, Michael Seymour, Tyler Ruelas. So that's it. There's 23 cars. There's no Sid Kashishian or John Barton. But yeah, not a good opening run.
Man. Well, Triple Bypass is back with a bang, and if you had a bet on at least one caution happening, you're at least right. So that looks like all of our bets were 1 to 4, and I'm starting to think I should have bet 5 to 10 if that is lap 1. Dip a little bit of a wheel in the grass there, get a little loose, and you have Kyle Gresh behind you just to go ahead and make sure the car goes around. But it happens sometimes, you know. Not a lot you can do on a race start. You just kind of got to get going, and when cars are that close together, you can't react that fast to someone being around. So, yeah, James, buckle in. Now if you need popcorn or something to drink, now you've got a couple laps to go grab it here as we're under caution. But don't change the channel. Don't change your YouTube away as we are 1 to green here. And you know what, James? I think that's just a little... That's the nerves. Everybody knows that JP Broadcasting is back in the booth here. I think that's just everyone getting back underway. I think we'll be fine for the rest of this race.
Well, yeah, I'm hoping that is a valid reason, but I think it's something we spoke about, and that's the problem. And it's a problem for Cameron Kane, who's down now in 18th, with his title rival sitting in 3rd. So for him, it's not good for him at this moment in time. Same for Benson, who's sitting in 3rd at the moment, chasing down Kane. He's ahead of Kane on the road, but all the while, Brad Kress is just floating up, currently up here in 3rd place, saying, boys, chase me if you can, on a difficult circuit. You know, Charlotte, they think, fall flat, go for it, green, 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 and it probably is in the trucks, but I don't believe to a degree that they're not actually being able to lift, and we'll try and pick up on them when they get going to see. But yep, tough circuit, tough course, and well, we're green.
Back green here, and Chad Bear is going to just take off pretty nice and quick there in the lead with Alcori in P2. And we're restarting single file here, as you would not be surprised. And I see Lawrence dropping down the leaderboard like crazy. It looks like he had a moment there on the restart there, but John Lawrence now dropping back, and it looks like up front Cameron Kane is just going to fling his way around the outside there of the number 60 as we get going. But Alcori up in P2, he's already 1.2 seconds off of Chad Bayer, and we haven't even completed one lap after the race restart here as we come around. Brad Kress right behind him, looks like he's going to just be hanging out there, and I see Kyle Gresh back in P4 with Harcum in 5th place. But other than that moment there from John Lawrence, everybody makes it away on the restart there, James.
Yeah, they do, and they're losing about 25, give or take, miles an hour in the corner. So it tells you that it's not full flat. There is a certain amount of lifting going on. You can see they're coming down to about 155, 157 here before they get back up to about 180. Oh, stay away. Gee, where's Batman? Was that Tyler Ruelas? It was.
It is.
Okay, well, he's going to manage to remove himself out the way, but that's brought everybody with Brad Kress, Al Corey, and Carl Gretsch all in the mix here. And unfortunately, Gretsch has just got nowhere to go currently. He's just going to have to sit there and hope or pray that he can make it through this lot without any problems.
Yeah, and if you're Kyle Gresh, that's really going to be just your big plan here, is just to sort of sit on board and kind of ride behind for the moment. He needs to find his way through, and the thing I love about this onboard shot with them is look at how that steering wheel is angled. They never really straighten it out until they're in the curves. These Gen 4 cars ride with a little bit of an angle to them, so you're always steering slightly to the right. And it's something that can be hard to get used to, but it's a lot of fun once you learn it, and you know in the turns all you do really is straighten the wheel out, maybe a little bit of left hand in it, and most of the time you're just going to be giving a little bit of right lock, a little bit of a slide there from Kyle Gresh as he tries to get around the inside of Al Corey. Side by side, they go down through into turn 1, and it is going to be Kyle Gresh who clears Al Corey on the inside there, gets that number 27 through, and is going to continue his way around. Now, Ben Harcum needs to do the same thing.
Yeah, if he can, it would be ideal for Ben to try and move himself through this part here. We've got Matt Harmon, who's kind of the only man driving around or such within himself. Obviously, we've got 23rd and 21st, which is Tyler Ruelas and John Lawrence, who have also got big old gaps. But, it's a bit tough for them to try and catch up, because although there is draft related, it is going to be very, very tough. Derek Forrest here with Angel Resendez is behind him, and Greg Pillar in front. So those guys are almost together on the circuit, and closely followed by everybody else, all down to Matt Perezzini. Then we've got another second to Ted Nichols, who's got Swissome, Fisher, JC, Michael Seymour, John Lawrence all behind him as well. So there's a couple of packs of battles at the moment. You've got 1 to 7, then you've got 8 and 9 on their own, then you've got 10 all the way down to 15, and then you've got 16 all the way down to 20. So we'll see how these packs develop as they go along here, and see if people drop off or drop back again. And Cameron Kane needs to make a move, and he did make that move past Resendez as Resendez went up into the wall.
Yeah, and Resendez was on a charge. He's going to drop back here. How far back does he drop? That's the million-dollar question I don't have an answer to. There's the number 24 going around the inside of Perezzini, and he gets his way through, and now Resendez just kind of needs to hang on to it now. That's the thing, is when you hit the wall and lose your momentum, all you need to do is just hang on until you can get back going and keep it together as best you can, which it's one thing for me to say it, it's another for it to actually happen as we continue on here. You can see in that mirror there on the left-hand side, he's got cars behind him that are really looking to get past, and he's got to drive it through and try to hold on to it. And man, I like seeing the different lines everyone's taking through turns 3 and 4 just to try to hold on to it and keep it together as we go down and around and through. And again, here we go, the number 99 trying to make a move up the inside. Can he make it stick? And it looks like he does indeed. John Kriegler there with a pass through, and is going to get himself up into P13 against Forrest.
Yeah, don't forget Kriegler was down 10 places. He started in 3rd, right? Was the main cause of the lap 1 incident. Although, yes, he was pushed by Gretsch. Gretsch had nowhere to go, right? I'm not even blaming Carl Gretsch in any shape or form. He had nowhere to go. He was not expecting that car to come back up and kind of almost stop literally, and then Gretz just, well, he hit him, and then unfortunately round he went here as well. Casey Ellis for the Capital Esports team chasing down Mark Herzog at the moment with that in and out livery machine that we're so used to and accustomed to of Mark on the racetrack. So there's still these pockets. They're slowly getting smaller pockets of battles, but they are still on the racetrack at the moment. We're on 15. We've got 100 to go here. So sit in tight, grab your drink, grab your popcorn, chill, like, subscribe, turn on the bells, because I can tell you one thing, this race is far from over.
Yeah, and as these pockets develop, it's going to be interesting to kind of see who goes where for what. Matt Parasini currently trying to get a run on Mr. Jason Benson up the inside. It looks like Parasini will get that move done without too much of an issue. As I say that, they make me a little bit nervous with each other there, but it does look like they get through without too much delay. Still a little bit side by side, and they get around, and there we go. Bob's your uncle. And they are through and on the way, and now we just got to sit and wait for a moment and see what the next battle that develops is. And it does look like, as we ride on board here with Ben Harkham, it is very, very, man, this track is so weird to me when you ride on board, because you got to remember how they're doing it, and they're trying as much as they can to just find a way through and find a different line. But the thing is, you would think Charlotte, as it's painted like a multi-groove track, you would think it's multi-groove, but it can be hard to make that work, really, and not have too many issues, especially, like we've talked about already, the bumps out of 4.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things they've got to make sure that they're not going to be struggling with. You have to find your line. And how Corey is doing that, he's found his middle lane groove, he knows what he's going and he knows where he's heading. And I think overall, that's one of the things that they've got to look out for. And, you know, they've got to make sure that they can keep in that groove and keep running it as best as they possibly can. It is tough. I'm not going to deny the fact that it's not. But it's also going to have to be very, very controlled. And these Gen4s, they're not the most easiest cars to control here at all as well.
Yeah, the Gen4s, as I said, I made it about 20 laps, and then I had to kind of call it a day because I had a very, very bad time with them. I respect these guys for being able to keep them on track as well as they do, because they're difficult cars. They are very, very floaty. They're very just, there's a lot to them. And, man, I don't know how else to explain it. There's a lot to it.
Oh, don't. I thought he was almost going to... Casey Ellis almost looked like he was going to lose that back end there. Almost looked like he was going to lose that back end. Cameron Kane's coming through with Greg Pillar in front of him as well. Ben, hopefully you gents got a nap in somewhere today. Bit of a long day. No, I didn't, actually, to be honest. I had far more interesting things to do than that one. Brad, I do sleep, just not for long.
Yeah, James, you have kids. Let's be honest. Your ability to run on 4 hours of sleep is much stronger than the average person.
This is also true.
Oh, Parasini! Parasini pirouettes. Did he save it?
Yeah, he saved it. He saved it, but boy, oh boy, did he come off 4 sideways there for Matt Parasini. I bet that scared the living life out of him here. I've got to give Ben a shout out. Anyway, Ben in YouTube chat was the one who did my spotting for my MX500, who stayed for the whole 4.5 hours. So fair play to Ben. He did my fuel and tyres and stuff as well. So I got to give Ben a lot of love for joining me on my MX500 journey, because to be honest, I didn't really know what I was doing, and it was Ben telling me, right, we're going to change this tyre, that tyre. I was like, okay, mate, I'll trust you, go for it. So, fair play to Ben. Much love for that one.
What a legend.
I know.
Shout out Ben. Wow, that's dedication. That's a friend right there.
Yeah, well, we literally, as I say, I only planned on being in there, and I spent 4.5 hours in VR, mind you. I'd like to point out as well.
That sounds rough right here.
It was painful. It was painful. On that one, Wardfish are trying to go up the inside of Parasini, but you can see, Matt. He's chastaining it around the wall, is Matt there? Oh.
I thought they
Ouch.
patched that out so it wouldn't work anymore.
Well,
He's trying to make it work.
yeah, they've taken it out of real life NASCAR as well, haven't they? They've turned around and said if you do that again, you're going to get a penalty. But, you know, why it wasn't written in the rules, why not go for it? That's what I say. And it looked like Matt was almost trying to try it there as well. But, yeah, I think 24 laps down, I would very much be looking to settle in now. I think that's the thing. I would be looking to settle in and just get used to doing, you know, what you're doing and finding your line and knowing what your tyres are doing. I think that's where I'm at as well there. That's what I would be doing. Well then, hopefully you watched that amazing race at Road America. The last lap was wild. You're going to have to send me the link, bro. I didn't watch any racing. And then, thank you for your words. Well, mate, as I say, team effort. We got there together. Not bad for somebody who's only got a plan of being in there an hour.
Isn't it amazing how that works sometimes? You plan on being there an hour and it ends up a 4-hour race with a win. I mean, can't complain. JC John Campbell around the outside here of Parasini. He clears him there on the back stretch. Good run through. And tell you what, Matt Parasini hadn't used his fast repair, judging by the state of that front bumper. He's going to need to use it very, very soon when he goes into pits. So whenever he decides to finally dip that car down in for a green flag pit stop, which we haven't talked about, they do have 3 sets of tire changes, and they are going to have to pit at some point through this race.
Yeah, they are. I was just seeing if I could see what damage has Parasini got, because he's a lot more right than most of the others. I suppose in general terms, it's kind of where everybody else is. So I thought he might have been a lot more right than the others were coming off the banking, but he seems to be nestled in and seems to be quite, I'm not going to say comfortable, because it does not look comfortable in any shape or form of that imagination, driving that car. So, you know, for him, it's definitely not, as that is Resendez into the wall again. Sir, you are going to have to lift. There is only so much right-sided damage that car will take on the progressive damage model in iRacing at the moment before probably your toe link goes click and says thank you very much. I will have that away.
I will tell you right now, these cars are so difficult to handle that the last thing you need is a toe link, a suspension part, anything on that right-hand side of the car just to go, thank you very much, adios, I'll see you later, and just go away, as we have Al Corey up the inside here of Kyle Gresh making a run through. Al Corey is secretly a tire whisperer, I feel. I think he does a good job of really conserving the car through the race more than others, and he has a very good skill of just being nice and smooth and consistent and being in the right places at the right time. And as we see, he's up into P3 now, 7.9 seconds back on Cress, and it seems like he is gaining little by little moving forward. So he's doing something just right, and he's going to keep it going. And Kyle Gresh loses another spot to Mark Herzog there and drops back yet again, and we continue on about our way. So I think Gresh might be just playing a little bit of the conservation game itself and saying, you know what, I'll save a little bit of fuel, I'll save a little bit of tires. You don't want to pass me, go right ahead. And is going to just keep his way forward here as we're 30 laps of 115 in here in the Juice Box 115. One caution has happened so far, and that was right on lap 1. But after that, we did the single file restart, and everybody seems to have it together, but Chad Bear has checked out from everyone else and is just kind of snaking his way through traffic and starting to put cars a lap down.
Very much so. Very, very much so. And I think there's going to be probably quite a few, I think, that might be a lap down or more here. Yeah, so they're going to have to try and, well, it's really tough, because I sit here and say that they're going to have to try and do something about it, but there isn't a whole lot you can do about somebody lapping you, right? And that's it at the end of the day. You've got to take it, suck it up, and move on. And I think some of these guys are going to have to do that and just take the fact that you are a lap down. Matt Parasini has jumped to the pit lane. He has jumped to the pit lane, and this is why. But, ow. Yep. Oh, and you're going to get a penalty for spinning in the pit lane if you go in that fast. Stop that car. Did it give you an entry penalty? Ooh, that's going to be close. I did say he looked more broke than anybody around him, and it looked like he just, yeah, he was a little bit broke. I want to check out Cameron Kane's car there, because I can't. Who is Bob Ross? Ah, okay. I looked at the paint job. I was like, I really like that. And now I know why, because it's the Bob Ross paint job. So fair play to Cameron Kane. Recognisable car, of course.
Yeah, Cameron Kane has one of the happiest little liveries that we've seen anyone, or paint schemes, I guess, because it is NASCAR and I am American, but here I am saying the word liveries. So it's amazing the things that rub off as we go. That's the number 78 going very, very slow on the high side of Ben Arkham, the Dr. Pepper advisor, as he has decided to be known as, and running slow there on the high line. I'm not sure if he did that on purpose or what his plan was there as we go through. Jason Benson running further back. I see it looks like the 333 coming out of the pits there. Really, I'm shocked more people haven't pit yet. We're 35 laps in with 3 sets of tires. You would think they would divide the race up into thirds and pit. Well, no, because I guess that would be every 40 laps. With 3 sets in the pits, you would think they'd divide the race into quarters and go every 30 laps or so, especially with the way the cars seem to really be getting slidey as we go around. It's a hot track here in Charlotte, so we figured more people would be pitting and wanting the fresh rubber sooner.
Yeah, well, it's 119 degrees Fahrenheit. 81 degrees out air, so yeah, it's a very, very warm one for these guys, but it depends on what, as Chet Bear's into the pit lane there. So it really, that was our leader, by the way, who's just gone into the pits. It really does say and depend on how much of a tire whisperer you want to be. How much are you risking it all for a chocolate biscuit? You know what I mean? You've got to just try and play it by ear and see how they get on. You can see the stint lamps in the right hand side there. Melodies paired with Corey, Herzog, Gretsch, Kress. Cameron Kane has obviously went in a little bit earlier on. He's on a 33, so he's got tyres 3 laps younger than some of the others in around him, and he's now jumped Brad Kress and put himself in 4th place, and is still going forward here.
Yeah, Brad Kress is still showing in the pit lane here. It looks like he's still in his box there. Matt Harmon's in. It looks like Ward Fisher's been in. Chad Bear's been in. Or they're on their way in right now. Sorry, they are all ones that were part of that lap 1 incident that had to pit early on. So you've got plenty of cars going through, mixed strategies. Tell you what, right now, the last thing they want is a caution. Herzog and Corey look like they're running neck and neck down the backstretch right now as we go through, and it looks like Gresh in the mix as well. Which one of those 3 will decide to pit first is really going to be my big question, because they are the ones that need to try to find some time to jump ahead and be competitive there on Kress, and I worry the more they stay out. And as I say that, Al Corey's in, Cameron Kane is still out and about. I still see several people through, and thankfully I don't think anyone's made a big error on pit entry there, James. I think everyone's been pretty okay on pit entry. Nobody's had any big moments that I've caught, at least. No,
I think they've all been fine, to be fair. Benson's in, Corey's coming in as well, so great job from them. Do you know what? I think pit stops in ovals is very, very tricky to determine whether or not you're going to come in, change all 4, take the 2 rights, change the 2 lefts, change the rear right, change the left one, or as I found out in the MX-5, I can only have to change 1 tyre, which was the front right, as well. So there's a whole different. Don't, dude. It was alien to me when Ben turned around and said, "Mate, we literally only need to change the right tyre. That's down at 59 or something %. Everything else was still up at 90 out of the whole car."
That's got to be an MX-5 exclusive thing. That would mess me up so bad.
It was literally just an MX-5 thing. All the other 3 tyres were up, and every other tyre apart from the right front was down at 60 or something, or even less than that. So this is one of the trials and tribulations for doing an oval. Yes, I was on a half-mile Martinsville. These guys are a 1.5-mile Daytona. So I think the easiest thing would be to look almost at Michael Seymour and see what tyres go up and what goes down. And does he take all 4, Or does he just take 2 rights? Or, well, there's one on the right side.
And
both
he's taking
the other
all 4.
Yeah, take all 4. And that's the thing. It's a different world when you're talking about ovals. It really, really is. And people just do not understand it whatsoever. But that is all one of the things that we have to contend with.
Well, and I think some of it, too, is a little bit of a comfort level. Like, you're going to have some of these drivers that are extremely comfortable in these cars that understand that it is that right front that takes the brunt of the impact here at Charlotte. So they're going to say, you know what? I can get away with holding on to my left sides through every other stop, and I'm just going to change right sides, and I'm going to take the time advantage. You know, if you're Al Corey, like, that would be my move. I would say, you know what? Crest went in, did all 4s, whatever. I only need right sides, and I think I can keep this car on the track and go. Me personally, I would take 4 tires every stop because I am just not as comfortable, and somebody's going extremely slow up the top there. It looks like somebody has busted their right-hand side.
Yeah, Casey Ellis. Can't figure out if he's busted or if he just is velcroed to the wall at the moment. But judging by that, I would say he could be pretty well busted because he's not coming away. Yeah, well, saying that, as I say that, he's back into the middle of the track. So maybe he just got one of them famous Velcro sticks to the wall that we've seen so much of and been a part of. So there you go. Car is way too loose to gamble on taking 2. I would expect 4 tires every time you pit, says Perezzini. Is that coming out on a minute? How can you give an advice when you're out of the race?
I mean, I guess if anyone's there to give advice, it would make sense that it's a driver, even if he's out of the race, to no avail of his own. I mean, yeah, that happens sometimes, though. You know, it's every dog has their day, and it looks like, in this case, Perezzini has had the moment of just not being able to finish the race. Like I said, I only made it about 20 laps, so I can't judge Matt Perezzini too far. He made it further in this race than I did earlier in the year.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. But, you know, he's in pit road, isn't he? He's in pit road. And he's the first and he's the first one out. And now he's giving advice. You know?
Yeah. But, you know, Matt's a good driver. Let's give him credit. Matt is not a bad driver at all.
I am not saying he's not. I'm just saying out of the race.
You're not wrong. I do agree. I do see Matt is showing out of the race at the moment, so you're not wrong. And we have lost, it looks like 5 drivers so far. Tyler Royelis, Patrick Swisshelm, Matt Sick Kasheshian, and Mr. John Barton. So we've lost 5 drivers so far here as it goes through. I don't know what happened to Tyler, though.
He's still in pit road. He's in and out of pit road. So at the moment, he's in and out. Angel Resendez is again, look like he's just been cemented into the wall. So we're all a little bit off sequence here. We've got people laps down, people a lap down, and then we've got a few that are a little bit further back. So for some, it's been tough. Garbage car, garbage setup. Woo. Bad drive, bad workman always blames his tools.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
I will give him defense. It's a fixed setup, which everyone has mixed opinions on, and sometimes if your drive style doesn't agree with a fixed setup, you have a very, very bad day, regardless of what's going on. And oh, look at those guys trying to navigate traffic around the 222 and the 37 of Cameron Kane and the 222 of Lawrence there, just trying to navigate around traffic, and did a fairly good job. It got scary for a second, though.
Yeah, Lawrence is the back marker. Oh, no, he's in front. Sorry. Who was the back marker? I think it was maybe Ted. Nope, Ted Nichols is out as well. Crutchley's all the way down. I'm surprised Crutchley's down in 18th, 2 laps back at the moment. Herzog's in, Pillar's in. This is going to start mixing things up. We're going to really start seeing changes in and around the front of the table. So just keep an eye on that front. There's going to be a few people that you think at the moment are a lap back, and then all of a sudden they're on the lead lap again, and you can't quite work out why. Well, I can tell you, pit stops have a lot to play in that one. So I think these guys probably from 7th down aren't going to be overly worried. Like, I wouldn't be overly worried knowing that there's got to be another pit stop cycle in there. What they don't want to do is mess up when that cycle is and come out further laps back. You know, I've done that before, and I've gone into the pits and I've come out 1 lap down, and I'm thinking, okay, well, that's not too bad, and then I end up scrubbing the hell out of my tyres, pit earlier, and then I come out the pits and I'm 2 laps down, and I'm thinking, well, hold on a minute, that didn't work. So you've got to be a little bit more mindful of what's going on in and around you, and it's going to be tough for some of these guys. I think you know, some of these are going to have to really sort of look about how they're going to get onto it. One man obviously is struggling as Racinda's not had the greatest opening race, I think, that we've seen him in so far.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but he's still not doing bad. He's up 7 places on the day in P17, so had a couple of moments, but overall, as we hit lap 52 of 115, seems kind of solid through and seems okay. I do want to point out that Kyle Gresh just now pit, so I think Kyle Gresh is going to try to make this a one-stop race, and if he pulls that off, it'll be a little impressive, but Chad Baer's now back up in the lead with 14.5 seconds of a gap.
Yeah, Cameron Kane's in and around that area. I'll explain why I'm out. Lap 1, crash killed the car worse than I thought. I did say that. Lost so much time, had to pit early to get the car fixed. Then when I lost it off 4, hurt it bad. Felt I had no chance to win after that. Out of the points, hunt, no point to continue, and call it a night. Well, there we go. That's from Matt Perezzini YouTube chat.
You have those races. Everyone's had those races.
I went for 4.5 hours. There's no excuses. Just saying.
You know, I'm trying to cut the man a break here. I'm trying to cut Matt a break. I'm saying everyone has those races where sometimes it just goes, you know what? Sometimes it's better to just be watching than driving. So.
Yeah, we've all been there. We've all had the one where you sit back and you make a mistake, and then this 20 car is so loose. Mr. Forrest, I'm not even sure what's happening in your car, but
he's trying.
Yeah,
I mean, doggone.
Yeah, he may be, but I don't know how healthy that car is. I've got to be honest. So yeah, unfortunately for Derek Forrest there, it looked like he was having a little bit of a rough time. 2 laps down at this moment in time. Creedler is on track and he's got Harmon pressurizing him behind. But you are right, everybody has them races where you sit back and think, oh, this ain't worth it. So you do end up just saying, I'm done, because you just don't want to waste your time. However, kind of stay away from the I'm done attitude in officials when you know that getting 4 minutes of repairs can probably save you a license drop or bucket loads of SR or IR. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that is true, and I think it is just one of those things where just kind of knowing how the league is, and you know, we've seen Matt Perezzini racing in triple bypass for a while. Sometimes you just hit that moment with triple bypass. You know, they've had their one big caution of the night, and then, you know, if you're just not feeling it, it's hard to recover sometimes. Ben Harcum's into the pits here as we go around. We're watching Matt Harmon run his way through. Sometimes you just have those days, so it happens. It's, you know, not the end of the world. I'm noticing something though, James. Have you noticed that only the top 6 are on the lead lap right now?
Yeah, I've looked at it and I can't quite work out where people have had that problem. The likes of Benson, who's sitting in 7th at this moment in time, I can't quite work out where that problem arose for some of these. If Benson went in on lap 38, Baer went in on 35, so are you telling me that 3-lap difference has caused that mass difference in where they are on track? I am confused, because if the guys go in again and they could quite possibly end up further laps down, being that they're not on the lead lap for this time, it's like they almost need a caution to get that, and Benson would obviously benefit from it.
Yeah, it's weird, and this is, again, we talked about kind of with oval racing with the tires and sort of the weirdness of what tires do you change, what do you do. This is another moment for me of weirdness with oval racing when you end up with multiple cars laps down and you just can't work out the math of exactly what happened. And that's kind of like, you're telling me a 3-lap difference caused all of this, and I don't know if that's accurate or not as we go and continue around here, as we're lap 60 of 115 in, and everybody, there's pockets, again, like we talked about early in the race, James, there's pockets of different things, but it's pockets of cars trying to negotiate traffic at this point.
Yeah, that's the thing. Nobody is really battling away for position. You've got Chad Bear, who's just happily running pretty much 14 seconds ahead of Brad Gress. Chad Bear has 2 tenths on the field. It will not be surprised if he goes green, he laps the field. I agree, and I think Chad Bear is a possible that most of this field could well be lapped. Matt Harmon is not too far in front of Bear at this moment in time. You know, Bear is there and Harmon's not too far up the way. He's literally going through the bottom of your screen. So it could be another one who'll be lapped on track, and that doesn't bode well if you're going to be thinking, well, I might be able to get my lap back, because at the moment you're nowhere near Chad Bear to be able to get your lap back. So, you know, you could possibly be a few laps down, or maybe at least one or more by the time you come to the end of this race.
Yeah, it's very, man, it's one of those where you sort of have to buckle in and ride it out and kind of just say, you know what, I'm a lap down and there's nothing I can do about it at this point, and kind of just accept it and say, I'm running for a top 10 at this point. I'm not in contention for the win unless absolute chaos happens, which is possible, as Kyle Gresh is snaking his way around here and trying to work his way through traffic, and I think gets his way through without too many issues. But for a second there, again, every time we see people together there through the quad oval, it gets scary.
Yeah, it does. And the weirdest thing out of all of that was Kyle Gresh going past second place. But Kyle is still a lap down. So he's got the pace to take Cress in second, but currently still a lap down. And that was poor old Derek Forrest having another moment there. So, yeah, it's a really weird makeup at the moment of what we've got going on. So, yeah, we'll have to give it a few more laps before we can kind of decipher what is actually happening.
Yeah, and that, it's frustrating, but it's also one of those, again, it's just the nature of oval racing. Sometimes it's harder to figure it out here as Herzog is trying to get a run on Pillar here. This is a pass for position, and Kyle Gresh is in the mix as well. This is actually a battle for P10 at the moment as Herzog gets his way through. Kyle Gresh, I think, might be able to make his way around the bottom here. And he does. Now can he sneak up the inside of Herzog? That is the million-dollar question, and yep, he's going to lunge it up the inside. Does he hold it? At the moment, as he goes around, he's there on the inside. He's trying to hold it. Herzog's holding it high. Clean lines, and Herzog will just keep high, just try to hold through. But Kyle Gresh creating 2 cars in 1 lap. Good pass there. We're lap 66 of 115 here, James. And at this moment, again, we're trying to work out that math of the top 5 versus everyone else. But, oh, big bump of the wall there from Herzog.
Yeah, we've literally just thumped the wall from Matt Herzog there. That's looking back now. You can see Herzog and Greg Pillar running side by side currently. Harmon's now gone that lap down. Creedler is not far up the road from Chad Bear, so it could be another one that he's going to be putting down the order very, very shortly. There is Creedler, there is Bear, there is Creedler coming out of 4, while Bear is halfway round 4. So there we go. Even though James thinks I'm not an expert, I can tell you as the tyre wear, the car gets extremely loose through the tri-oval. Can't run full throttle through there. I wasn't expecting you to be able to do a full throttle. I didn't have nipped out after a few laps of practice. I knew I'd definitely kill somebody if I decided to run it. So loose all over the place, says John Barton. Listen, Matt, I never said that you're not an expert. I'm just saying to give advice. But you're out the race. Just saying.
Listen, did they say that about Doc Hudson when he said turn right to go left?
No. But have you ever heard the saying people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones?
Yeah, I have heard that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, the thing is, me and you are not in the car, right? You know,
Right.
this is the thing, and you rely on people like Matt, who has driven this car, you know, season after season probably, and do a great job in it. And JB's in there as well. John Barton saying it was loose as hell. If it is loose, then, you know, fair play for even trying it. But I think practice makes perfect. That's what generally they would say. And I think that although these cars are loose and they're tough and they're beefy and there's a lot of power going through them, you know, to get used to the car will take a lot of effort to do that. Obviously, in Matt's case, is a little bit different. Oh, steady, Chad. To obviously JB. JB didn't actually start. Matt did. He got damaged in the wreck. Then he got damaged after he thumped it into the wall, which we saw. So, you know, for Matt, I understandable say why he's out, because obviously I wouldn't want to be sitting there in the pit lane for about 20 minutes either, to be honest, if my car was smashed up. What was it, Doc Brown, that said, when you get this baby up to 88 laps, you're going to see some real schweezel? I don't think that was the wording, Mr. Barton, but I do understand where you're going with that.
Yeah, I can see where he's trying to go with that, but you know, nonetheless, these guys are running the cars, and these cars are very difficult to run. So kudos to them on every way they go. John Creedler here running around and is trying to just stay nice and calm there. MP4. When did Matt Harmon go a lap down? I missed something somewhere. But now John Creedler.
Chad Baird did him on the road. He overtook him on the road, which is what was expected to come. And I said Creedler's not far off the being in the same predicament here. If Bear goes long, which is what I'm expecting him, because the 35, he's already gone over the 35 that he did have anyway in the first time. Matt, come and join us. Come and jump in the booth. Come and say hello. So, yeah, if Bear does go any longer, which currently at the moment he's off. Ooh, hold on. What did you do here, dear sir? Because why are you off the... somebody may need tyres. Fast as a bandit, you are correct, but you're also not a lawnmower. So I would be looking, if I was Chad Bear, looking at possibly getting in the pit lane.
Yeah, I think Chad Bear is going to need to go soon, but the thing is, even then, he's still pulling half a second a lap on Brad Crest. As I look at lap times, I mean, he's still pulling, well, actually, last time he was a second slower, but, I mean, he's still consistently going faster than the rest of the field, so I'm kind of not sure what he needs to do here. And to be frank, this is why I, even though I am the American between the two of us, NASCAR is not my go-to preference in iRacing, because I tend to get these calls completely wrong. We'll see what happens with it, though, as we watch. Stay, hello, stay, please. Man, that got scary for a second. I don't know who that was, but that was close.
It looked like 167. I had a 7 on the end of it.
It wasn't John Campbell, which I still need to... It was Tyler Ruelas. There we go.
Yeah, Tyler Ruelas. Again, getting slapped against the wall. Ward Fisher's got John Lawrence and Ben Harkham closing on him here as well. And I'm expecting... To be honest, I don't think we're really going to be able to tell where people are until you get into the last 15 to 20 laps here, because everybody is so all over the place. Ward Fisher is 13th. He's just gone past Ben Harkham in that 78 machine and John Lawrence. Ward Fisher went into the pits on lap 36. Well, it looks like he's going in now, to be fair. Corey's it, Bear's in, Crest is in, and Kane's in. Okay, so we're getting a rough idea of where everybody is going to be and going to be around. So that's that putting Benson now in the lead. Yes. So Benson is now in the lead. So I think, to be honest, Brad, don't try it. I'm not trying to decipher anything until after this pit stop cycle. My God, she is so loose. I had so many saves, but not that into the wall. Yes, Tyler, we saw. I didn't want to impound your misery and show every incident, but we did see a majority of them.
Yeah, these cars are not long run happy, that is for sure. But Benson's still out there running around. He seems pretty smooth as it sits. He's slower than Michael Seymour, though, which is an interesting thing to note out as I look at lap times. Well, actually, no, he is half a second up on Michael Seymour. I keep looking at best times and not last times, and that's the part I need to look at, is the last time and not the best time. As we go through, Chad Bayer still running in second place now as it stands. And yes, that is after a green flag pit stop. He is still in P2. He had that much of a gap running.
Yep.
So we'll see how everything works out. It looks like he's about to get past Benson just on pure merit at this point.
Yeah, Benson's not far up the road. Obviously, Benson on 38, lap 38 when he pitted. So he's on basically 41 lap old tyres. Chad Bayer's literally only on 3. That should be their final stop, but I wouldn't expect Bayer to be needing to pit again unless something goes drastically wrong. And as you can see, Benson's on the high line. Bayer's just going to say thank you very much, cheers, take care, adios. So there you go. Also, where can I one sing up to be a broadcaster in JPB? Huh? Also, where
He's trying to say where
could
someone sign up?
Ah,
yeah.
Do you do commentary as well, Mr. Arelas? That's the question. Oh, Mr. Forrest in the pit lane. Well, no, that wasn't Mr. Forrest. No, that wasn't JC. Who was there? He is, Tex Nichols. That is not how you enter the pit lane. Okay, that is not. That's a no. You can't do it that way.
And he's definitely picked up a penalty from that, if I had to guess.
I would probably suggest that is probably what's coming. Michael Seymour has just been overtaken by Kyle Gretsch here. So, unfortunately, Gretchen moving his way up into 4th place. See, there's a lot more people on the lead lap now, but there's also still people in that top 6. 4 of them have not pitted. Benson, Herzog, Gretsch and Seymour have not gone into the pits yet. Brad Kress is the first of the runners in behind the leader that has pitted. So how far will them 4 be down when they go into the pits there? Pure merit. Is Tyler even here tonight? Tyler Thumbsticks? No, I don't believe he is. So, but yeah, Chad just doing the job, isn't he, already, to be honest? No, but I want to get into it. Ooh. I said that 3 years ago. Look where I am now.
That's what I said 3 years ago, too. And we see where I find myself. So I will say everyone needs to get their start somewhere, James. I'll leave that conversation between you and Tyler, but just remember, at one point I had no commentary experience as well.
This is true. Yes, I am aware. I'm aware. Send me a DM, Tyler, and we can have a chat about it all. And see if we can bring you in on the broadcast and see if you like it. I think that's the main part of it, isn't it? Is enjoying what you're talking about.
That is true. I would agree with that, because there are moments where you really
Okay.
Look at the save that you just caught off of Cameron Kane. Ow! I saw the handwork from Cameron Kane there to save that. That was impressive.
Yeah, Mark Herzog trying to go under Greg Pillar here. Both of these are pitted. Herzog's on newer tyres by about 4 laps. So he's trying to go for it there. Likely be a lap and a half down. I think so. I think somebody's going to find themselves in very, very bad positions after this. And I wouldn't be surprised if Chad Baer does be the only car on the lead lap. Is that an interview or an audition? What, for Tyler? Well, it's not. The thing is, whenever somebody comes up to you and says, hey, James, I want to be a commentator, and you go, okay, do you have experience? They go, no, you have to bring them in to see if they like it. There's no point me putting all my resources into that person if we do one race and they turn around and go, no, I don't like this. You know what I mean? Because I would have wasted a lot of time and effort and finances in general. So it's easier for me to bring them in, see how they get on, and then decide, and they to decide as well, whether or not they even like talking a lot as we do and have to during races, as Cameron Kane has also just gone underneath Al Corey. So Corey's also going to be, he might be third on the road here after Gretsch, Cress and Benson pit, if of course they even do, or if they're trying to get to the end.
Oh, Kyle Gresh, big snap there in turn 4. I've been trying to do some math in the background here and work things out, and Kyle Gresh went to lap 51 without pitting. And so I'm wondering if he's not just kind of saying, you know what, I'm just not going to pit now and try to salvage whatever I can in terms of positions. Because his pace, he ran a 33.6 last lap, and Al Corey ran a 32.5 last lap. 31.9 from Cameron Kane last lap, who's just ahead of him.
He's got nothing in that car.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the option, but my assumption is, is that he doesn't want to pit, but he needs to pit. I don't know. Maybe someone can tell me if that is right or wrong, because at this point, nobody's catching Chad Bear.
Look, you can't even get the car after banking at the moment. Yeah. It's all a little bit of a struggle. And sometimes you go beyond the error of recognition of your own errors. And you've got to look at it for Carl Gretsch. If he does not pit, he's going to go down the order generally anyway. So he's better off pitting to go down the order, but at least have some corner tyres for the next 25 laps. If he doesn't, then he's going to be in trouble. And I think overall, it's that erring on the side of stubbornness. But you're so stubborn that you can't recognize that you've made a mistake. You continue to make that mistake until somebody turns around and says, hey, what are you doing? You're doing it right. No, you're not. Let me show you a different way. And Carl Gretsch might be in that area of stubbornness where he's just so committed to that one stop because he sees himself being in 5th. But at the moment, people are closing him down with newer tyres. And, of course, the leader is also going to be behind him and put him a lap down. So there you go. No way we had enough fuel. He'd have to save over 10 laps. Well, I don't know if he's committing to that, Matt. And just as I say, he went to lap 51 here.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why Kyle Gresh hasn't pit. He's pitting off cycle. He's very off cycle to the rest of the field at this point. So I don't know what his plan is. I'm curious to just kind of watch and see what he runs and does here as he goes through. But, I mean, you could see how hard he's having to work the wheel off of 2 and 4 every single time as we go around. And, you know, just as it was said in chat by John Martin. Yeah. I mean, look at this.
Yeah, he's sliding harder than Bambi on ice at this moment in time. I know you said the car is loose, but you shouldn't be turning right on a straight. I certainly get that.
We're not dirt track racing, that's for sure.
Yeah, no. Maybe he's just so past the point of no return. He's just that committed that he wants to do this. But you're looking at the Creed-Legretsch gap, and you can just see it dropping and dropping and dropping. You know, it was out at 6 seconds. It's now 5, coming on 5 very, very shortly. So, yeah, I think erring on the side of stubbornness could be a problem as Michael Seymour is up the road with Benson there. Ward Fisher's still in. Casey Ellis has been in for 26 minutes. So, yeah, he's had a bit of a, I don't know what's gone on with Casey, but whatever it is, he's been in there a while. I'll see if I can find anything, but I haven't seen anything pop up for him.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything either, so kind of interesting there to see what's happened with him as we keep running around here. 21 laps to go, and Kyle Gresh has finally called it quits and went to the pit.
Good.
Finally.
I think you needed to. I think I think he's going to lose places. It's just how many he's going to lose will be the one for him. I cannot see anything wrong with Casey Elliott. I don't know. Can't answer that question. Right, there is Corey. Where is... Ooh, Corey's going to be a lap down. I love the comment earlier. It says, Chad Bear is so fast, he's going to put himself a lap down.
I mean, honestly, at this point, I kind of see it. He's lapped everyone but the top 4, and he's about to lap Al Corey. He's not that far away from Al Corey as we go down the backstretch here. If you just pan the camera 5 degrees, you're right on Chad Bear.
Yep, there is.
This will be, I would say he'll lap Al Corey by the end of the race. The big question for me is, can Al Corey close the gap to Kane, which the gap keeps opening, so I don't think so.
The problem is the gap is extending. You can see from the times on the left are from the leader to that driver. So Corey's got a 30-second gap. Well, the laps are only 32. So Henty is literally in front of us. The problem is Cameron Keynes is coming out to 22.5 seconds. So he's only a further 6 seconds up the road. And at the moment, Kane are doing 32.4s by Chad's doing 32s. So that's 4 tenths per lap. And he's got 18 laps to try and get hold of the third place man, which at the moment could stand to be even more possible for him to be able to do that.
Yeah, and while you've got Crest and Kane that are doing 32.4s, you've got Al Corey in front of us doing 32.8s. So I think he is really just cruising his way through. He said, you know what? I'm in 4th place. I'm probably going to get lapped, but that's fine. I'm in P4. Who cares? And I think he is just really trying to drive that car to the end of the race more so than drive it for position. And to be honest, I kind of don't blame him here with 17 to go. Just kind of conserve it through and let it go and hold on to it. And really, really can't blame him here. And you know, once the leader's close enough, I think he'll obey the wonderful James Parkett blue flag rule and just make himself scarce and go ahead and let Chad Bear on around, which would be what I would do.
Oh, well, you know, fighting is pointless, isn't it? You know, it's absolutely it's a waste of time. It's like sticking Floyd Mayweather against Anthony Ruiz. If Ruiz gets hold of Mayweather, it's going to lay him flat on his back. And, you know, we've got Corey that would be a Mayweather in this kind of thing, and Anthony Ruiz on board with Chad Bear or, you know, whoever you want to, Alexander Uzek, for instance. So it's pointless Corey trying to defend something that's going to be inevitable. You know, you might as well say, yeah, son, take the inside road because you are already alongside me. And now Corey doesn't really put up much of a fight, and he's another one that goes a lap down. You know, there was nothing there. It's nothing. You know, it's all obviously made up as such if you put Floyd Mayweather against the Big Show, and apparently Floyd Mayweather knocks him out when you're sitting there going, really? Come on, dude, that punch is like a fly. So for Corey, no point fighting anything. Let him go, let him get on with his job, let him go and take the win. Will he lap everyone? Who knows? But we've got 14 laps to find out whether or not he does.
Yeah, 14 laps to go, and he'd have to gain 15 seconds or so to lap Kane and Crest. That'll be... I don't think it'll happen unless something crazy comes up, and so I think we're pretty well smooth. I think at this point, everyone has kind of just said, you know what? We just want to get to the end of this race. 14 laps to go, and I think they're really just trying to hold on to it here. And Chad Bear is just kind of saying, you know what? All right, I'm going to run 14 nice, fun laps here as we have Naj Crutchley, who wants to get himself unlapped to be only 3 laps down instead of 4 there. And P15, he's been gaining on Chad Bear consistently. So we'll see what he ends up doing here as we run around. His last lap was a 32.1, and the leader's last lap was a 32.5. So Naj has a little bit in the tank there. And I guess the big question for him will be, can he get a pass done cleanly if he decides he wants to pass the leader? I don't know if it would be worth it here with 13 to go. I think I would just sit behind the leader and kind of cruise. But, you know, race car drivers, they have that thing about them where it's kind of one of those, I want to be on the table 3 laps down, not 4, because 3 looks better than 4. So sometimes you see them decide to try to make that pass that, you know, ultimately doesn't change anything, but it they feel better about it. And sometimes it's just a little bit of a, I said I could, so I did.
Yeah, it's more of a who's got the biggest, you know what I mean? And me personally, I think regardless if I'm 1 lap down, 2 laps down, or 3 laps down, as long as I got to the end of the race, I don't really care where I finish. You know, and I think Dodge, if he's clever, may go and have a go, or if he's just sitting there content, he may sit back and think, yeah, if he catches Bear and Bear's holding him up, why not go round him? You know what I mean? If you can, but obviously do it in a way where you're not going to go and kill Bear in the process.
Yeah, and these guys have raced together for a while, so they're very respectful of each other. And I think Chad Bear, as it sits right here, if he knows that Naj has his number, he's running faster, and he's right there and can get a pass done. He's seen him coming up in the mirrors for a couple laps now. He's just going to let him go. He knows there's no dog in the fight, so he might as well just let it go and be done with it. So clean pass there from Naj on Chad Bear. Puts him 3 laps down instead of 4 on the road, and he still holds on to P15 here as we run around. 10 laps to go as they cross the line here, James.
Yeah, 10 laps. We're going to find out in about 3 for, what's that? 10 laps at 30 a lap. It's about 3 minutes, isn't it, give or take? But I'm sure it probably might be a little bit longer. You know, everybody is fairly close together. The story is going to be whether or not Cameron Kane's going to be caught, and he's 23 seconds up the road. Bear last time 32.86. Kane did a 32.83. So I'm finding it highly debatable. Sorry, as I plug my teeth in, that Bear will catch Kane, but I do think Kane's going to take the victory. Unless Bear's going to take the victory unless he has some form of major issue.
Yeah, with 8 laps to go here, these cars have been so slidey. It is possible. Anything can happen, and if I'm Chad Bear, I'm going to back off that 5% that I need to make sure I make it to the end without any major issues, especially the amount of cars we've seen slide off of Turn 4. If I'm the race leader right now, I do not want to be involved in that statistic. So we go around here, and now they are coming up on the solid white car. That is going to be the 112 of Pillar. That is going to just very politely stay to the high side, out of the way. Pillar goes another lap down. He is now 2 laps down on the board. Only the top 10 are 1 lap down or less here, and Pillar just hanging to the high side, lets it go. Michael Seymour there on the screen, and Chad Bear is not that far behind him, so I think Seymour might go another lap down in the next 7 laps.
Yeah, I think that's definitely possible. Kane, I expect Kane to survive with the only 3 on the lap, the only 3 on the lead lap there. But yeah, it's difficult for people at home to understand why we've only got 3 on the lead lap, and why 1 lap down and 2 laps down and 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. And I think you actually need to understand the purpose of how this all came about. And it came about for just purely because of the fact of Chad Bear's exceptional pace in that car, and then the green flag pit stops. And that literally just sums it up. You've got Chad Bear exceedingly fast, you've got green flag pit stops, and before you know it, people are finding themselves a lap down and then 2 laps down and 3. And that's how it's worked here this evening. And Bear's going to go around now and just absolutely still annihilating the field. And 5 to go, 4 to go now.
Yeah, and I think that, for me, that's the big thing with oval racing, is that there's still a lot to play for. There's a lot in the race, even though you see those lap down numbers and you go, okay, only the top 3 on the lead lap. There's still plenty of battles all the way through the field that are happening, and plenty of strategy that goes in. If we were to extend this race by another 100 laps, there'd be even more to play for as we go through. Even though it's 4 to go, you know, if you add another 100 laps, you've still got plenty of strategy to try to figure out here. As Kyle Gresh has now been passed by Ben Harkin. I'm seeing something happen to Gresh there. He went off track. I'm not sure what happened to him, but it looks like, oh, he's hugging the wall, and
oh, he weren't
that's
hugging
a weird moment.
Yeah, he was not hugging the wall at that point. Oh, we've seen that happen already.
Ooh. So a quick reflection of lap 1.
Yeah, and do you know what's worse? The person who did exactly the same thing then was the person right behind Carl Gretsch. John Creedler. John Creedler did exactly the same thing in lap 1. And if you have a look when we go back just a little bit here as well, I'll keep an eye on the tracks. It is John Creedler who has just watched Gretsch do the same thing the opposite way. Gretsch hit Creedler. Creedler tapped Gretsch. There we go.
Yeah, man, that was I don't know what the odds are of that one, but that was close. So as we go through, Chad Bear coming around, he'll take the white flag this time by, and I don't think we really have a lot to say about it other than just Chad Bear has been dialed in from the start. He's been very nice and smooth and consistent and just did the job. He came out and said, you know what, I just got to run it through, and that's what he's done. Yeah,
but oh, we understand it. Bear, Crest, and Kane are from the Terminator future. Well, dude, that might be the case, or it may not be, but he's coming over the line.
Yeah, and Brad Kress, I think, should have this secured too, but as we come across the line, Chad Bear wins the Juicebox 115 here, sponsored by Matt Harmon. And coming across in second place will be Brad Kress, who is your current championship points leader by a pretty significant margin, and he's just going to go to extend that margin here. And we'll come across the line, and then, of course, back in third, the happy little accidents of Cameron Kane will bring it across in P3. He's P2 in the championship, but I do think, if my math is correct, the championship, I think, will be wrapped up.
It would need a miracle. And that is if Kress does not take to the final round next time.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. Chad Bear already back around, and look at that, immediately starting the donuts on the grass. We still have cars trying to get across the start-finish line, and Chad Bear just said, you know what, donut time. But that is the grip he had on the field, as we see Kyle Gretsch completely stopped on the backstretch there, and Chad Bear is just going to burn whatever tires were left on that car, and I feel like the cars were eating tires, so whatever tires he has left, he's just going to leave it on the racetrack here and burn it down.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But there, dear sir, are the results.
And as we bring up the results here, is Chad Bear with Brad Kress, P1, P2. Chad Bear absolutely burning up the tires on that car. Brad Kress, second place. Cameron Kane in P3. The only 3 cars on the lead lap were our podium places. Al Corey in 4th place, went a lap down with about 20 to go. John Creedler in P5, Matt Harmon, Jason Benson, Mark Herzog, JC John Campbell, and Michael Seymour, your top 10 respectively. Everyone that was a lap down at least. Now, 2 laps down was Greg Pillar in P11, Ben Harkham in P12, John Lawrence in P13, and then 3 laps down, Kyle Gretsch in 14th place, the Naj Crutchley in P15, Angel Resendez in P16 was 4 laps down, Derek Forrest went 7 laps down on the day, Tex Nichols in P18, 8 laps down, and then Ward Fisher, Tyler Royales, Casey Ellis, Patrick Swisshelm, Matt Parasini, Sid Kasheshian, and John Barton, all the drivers that did not finish this race respectively, with the last 2 being lost before we could even get through turn 2.
Yeah, Kasheshian didn't start and Barton didn't start. So there you go. James will DM you after the interviews. That's fine. I will be heading to bed, so please don't expect a response until tomorrow. Ben Groves, a good race, good broadcast. So thank you very much for that one. But you grab whoever you would like out of the chat box below and get them to come and have a chat with us.
Yeah, let's start out with, let me get my thing working here. Where is Chad Bear? Let's start out with him. If it will let me pull people in, which it's surprisingly not. There we go. So Chad Bear bears it all on 115 laps and just dominates the field. Chad, what in the world were you fueling that car with to be that fast?
I don't know, man. That surprised me at the start. Kind of shot out there and got a huge lead and never give it up. I don't really have an explanation for that.
I mean, are we sure you were driving the same car as everyone else? Because that was impressive. That was, I mean, everything that could have gone right for you went right tonight.
Well, you're exactly right. But let me tell you this, no one else had Jim Beam in their belly and Jim Beam in the gas tank. That was the difference.
Love that.
I respect that.
Yeah,
I love that.
Great response.
That's the best I can come up with. Got to get the sponsor plug in there.
Well,
Can't
I hope they're sending you full cases of Jim Beam there, Chad. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I wish. I still got to go buy it, man. You think I'd be higher up in the chain by now?
Definitely, I do agree with you, Sarah, as well. I do agree.
Yeah, I don't know how that come across on the broadcast, but man, that was a handful. That was very challenging, very fun combo they had tonight.
I was going to ask you if the setup just happened to work perfect for you, because we had a Matt Parasini in chat saying that the car was just sliding around like nobody's business, and we saw several drivers almost lose it time after time after time. So I was kind of curious, how did the car feel for you specifically?
It was very loose, very loose. It was easy to overcook the right rear, and then you were in big trouble at the end of those runs. I got myself in big trouble both of the first two runs, and deliberately overdrove the right front on that last run, and was pretty comfortable for that last stint right there. It took me the whole race to figure it out, but it was pretty good. Pretty good. Once you figured it out, you could manage it, I felt like.
I'll tell you what, Chad, it was impressive to watch up here in the booth. Anyone you want to thank, anyone you want to shout out before we let you go for the night?
Appreciate you all broadcasting it. Matt Harmon for paying for the broadcasts, all the admins with the Triple Bypass League, and all the drivers, man. It's a good crew we got going on here. Just appreciate everybody.
Awesome. Take it easy, Chad. Enjoy your celebration, and make sure the sponsor sends you a little something for the win.
Yes, sir. I'm going to get one more shot, then head to bed.
Have a good night, man.
All right, man. You too.
All right, James, that's a good sponsor plug. I like that. Let's see if Brad Kress can do the same here as we bring him in. Brad Kress, one of 3 drivers to finish on the lead lap, finishes in 2nd place. How did the car feel for you today? Brad? Brad to Brad, you got a copy?
That would be a no.
No. All right, so let's drop him out and let's go pull Cameron Kane. So Cameron Kane, one of 3 cars to finish on the lead lap here. Was it a happy little accident? I have to ask.
Oh man, that was a blast. Like, this is probably one of the better track combos for the car because you're just driving on the right rear the entire time. But no, I absolutely choked in qualifying. I hit the wall on my 2nd lap, so unfortunately I had to start in, I think, 10th. So I pretty much just had to work my way back up through.
I will say that you're probably one of the few drivers that are going to say you like this car track combo based on the amount of people sliding around. Was the car really loose for you, or did the setup just work right for how you drive?
Honestly, I thought it was awesome. Like, probably the last 15 laps of each run, I started to get a little bit loose, but I was pretty much flat-footed throughout the entire front stretch and back stretch. I think the biggest thing is just I would let the car rotate and just straight line it right off the corner, and it seemed to work.
Well, it had to work pretty well because you finished P3. Were you worried about getting lapped at all there in 3rd place?
Not so much. I don't know exactly how close Chad was to me, but well, I guess 20 seconds. Holy. Yeah, I guess he just ran away with the thing.
He took off, and we asked him what happened, and I'll let you go back and watch the broadcast later to see what he said he fueled his car with. There's a reason he ran away with it, is what I'll leave it at.
Oh, unbelievable. Yeah, I was white knuckling the whole time, so I didn't necessarily get to think about that, but yeah, good on Chad, and he's been on a crazy win streak.
Yeah, it was awesome to see you up there in P3, and anyone you want to thank and anyone you want to shout out before we let you go for the night, Cameron?
I want to thank Harmon for sponsoring this. I always appreciate it, and it's great talking to you guys again.
Awesome.
Excuse me, Mr. Kane.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm good, man. You owe me an apology.
Oh man, from way back.
Oh.
From way back, you never once even apologized for punting me on the pace lap on that broadcast that I was doing while I was in the car.
Now hold on. Does he need to apologize for it?
Well,
I'm just waiting for the payback.
Oh, dude, don't. That's it. That's it then.
We're racing ovals, brother. You got to give it back.
Oh, okay. You're talking to an MX500 champion now, sir. I'd like to point out.
Oh, come on now.
What, those rookie cars?
Hey, I drove Minesville 500 and took the win. Give over.
Nah, hey, you're the man. You're the man.
Oh, exactly, I am the man. But yeah, all right. We'll do a payback. Anyway, carry on, Brad. I'm finished now.
Cameron, how would you like to respond to James there?
Hey, I want to see him come race with us again. It was fun.
We'll arrange something. I'll work with James and get something arranged for you, Cameron, man.
Sounds wonderful.
Awesome. Have a good night, Cameron.
Yeah, take care, fellas.
Take care, man.
James, you gotta pester the drivers tonight.
I had to. I just wanted. Hey, look, I'm a needy individual, and I need apologising after he spun me on a blinking pace lap. I didn't even go.
You know what? You know what? I'll give you that one. We've got a few more races coming up this season with Triple Bypass across all of their leagues. We'll find some time to get you in the car. We got 3 more races with Triple Bypass here this season. We've got the Xfinities this Thursday night at Charlotte. Maybe we can get you in the car then, James.
Do you know what? That's what I was looking at. Charlotte Motor Speedway.
I think you could do it. It's the Xfinity cars too. They'll be a little bit easier to drive.
I love the Xfinities of Charlotte.
We'll set that one up. I'm going to unofficially say that that's happening, and James can confirm it later. And then, of course, next Tuesday, we have the SRXs at Hickory. I could drive that one. That could be fun. And then next Thursday is Xfinities at Michigan, and that rounds out all of the seasons here of Triple Bypass that we have so far. And then they'll, of course, set up their fall season. Everybody gets back into school, and then they'll set up that fall run. So we'll see how things go. James, I will leave it to you to officially or unofficially confirm the Thursday night plans here. We'll not say yes or no yet.
Well, listen, I don't mind. I can talk and drive. I'm in the Xfinity around Charlotte. I do love the Xfinity car as well. So, Kane waiting for a receipt from James. Oh, don't you worry. If he's in Xfinity next Thursday in Charlotte, there'll be a receipt. I can tell you that much. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, I think the shots have been fired. I think the call-outs have been made. So if you've just sleep until Thursday and don't worry, I think we'll see something happen, James.
Mm-hmm. There'll be a little something. There'll be a little something. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But any final thoughts here, James, before we send this broadcast off? And I let you get to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning.
No, I really enjoyed this race. I think Chad Bear is as I said, he's an alien. He's from somewhere. He ain't normal. Because that is exceptionally quick. And if he did fuel his belly up as well, fair play. Because one of them, I would be all over the track. So, yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. Fair play to him. Excellent job.
Yeah, awesome to watch. And, man, that's got to be one of the highlights of interviewing the winner. So, but I think that's where we're going to sign off this Juicebox 115 here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Big shout out to the Matt Harmon for sponsoring tonight's race and bringing this in. 3 more races for Triple Bypass coming at you from the JP Broadcasting Network here. Going through, and I just glimpsed at YouTube chat, and I'll let James look at it here later. But on behalf of Mr. James Parfit himself, my name is Bradley Dalton. We've taken you start to finish here tonight. Be sure to join us Thursday night where we'll finish at the Charlotte Motor Speedway from Triple Bypass yet again. Good night.
Jungle.